Hello my dear students, welcome back. So last session I gave you the introduction about meiosis. So this session we will start with the process of meiosis. So we will first discuss what is meiosis 1. So in that I am going to start first with the karyokinesis. So we named it as karyokinesis 1. So in karyokinesis 1 there is a prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1 and telophase 1. So in this session first we will complete about in detail about what is prophase 1. So I will start with prophase 1. Prophase 1. Prophase 1 is a very longest phase in meiosis. It is the longest phase of meiosis and it is further divided into 5 subphases. So let us see what are the 5 subphases. So first subphase is called as leptotene. Leptotene. This is called as a first subphase. In some places, some books, they also give it as leptonema. The term, the word nema or the suffix nema also is used. So leptotene or leptonema. So what are all the features of this? The first thing, I list down point wise what are all the important features here. So here chromosomes, they appear thread-like or they are very slender. Slender means very thin, thread-like. Chromosomes appear thin, thread-like. That is the most important feature of leptotene chromosome. And compaction of chromosomes will continue here. Compaction of chromosomes continue. Compaction means condensation of chromosomes. Chromosomes start becoming thick rod-like. So that is called compaction or condensation. That starts during this phase. And another important feature here, we find here nuclear size start increasing. Nuclear size also start increasing. And in case of animal cells, we find all the chromosomes in case of animal cells, they converge at one point. This I'll tell you diagrammatically. Converge at one point. Suppose this is the nuclear membrane with nucleolus, and this is the cytoplasm. So let us see in cytoplasm we have, this is in animal cells, we know there is a centriole present, centrosome or centriole. Centrosome is present. You know centrosome consists of 2 centrioles. So here we find all the chromosomes converge at one point. Which point? That is towards the centriole. So this is how all the chromosomes will appear, converging towards centriole. So this stage in animal cells, this is called as a bouquet stage. This is very important feature in case of animal cells. We don't find this in plant cells because there are no centrioles in plant cells. So this is what is the leptotene chromosome. Chromosomes are thin thread-like. Compaction will continue. Nuclear size increases. In animal cells, it appears as bouquet stage. And another feature is the chromosomes show nodule-like structures called chromomeres. Chromosomes show nodule-like structure called chromomeres. Here earlier point we discussed the compaction of chromosomes starts here, it continues. Compaction means thin thread-like. Suppose we take chromosomes as thin thread-like. We know this stage is called as a chromatin stage. First stage we call it as a chromatin stage. And this chromatin will start condensation. When it starts condensing, it becomes more and more shorter. So at some points they appear as granule-like. So these granule-like structures are called as chromomeres. So in leptotin chromosomes we find appearance of chromomeres. So this is what is the leptotin. Now let us take the second stage, that is called as a second stage of prophase 1, which is called as zygotine. Second stage is called as a zygotine stage. Zygotine stage. The main feature of zygotine stage is pairing of homologous chromosomes. Pairing of homologous chromosomes. This pairing, this is also called as synapsis. Pairing of homologous chromosomes is also called as synapsis. So synapsis is the main feature of zygotine stage. And another feature, this point we are going to just discuss in detail. What is pairing and how it takes place. Here nuclear size increases. Nucleolus increases in size. Nuclear in the previous leptotin. Here nucleolus increases in size. And the centrioles move apart. Move apart means they move towards the two opposite poles of the cell. They move, and there is initiation of spindle takes place. Initiation of spindle apparatus. Spindle apparatus start forming here. There is initiation of spindle takes place. Now let us see what is the meaning of this pairing of homologous chromosomes and how it takes place. So here the entire process of meiosis I will discuss by taking two pairs of chromosomes, which is very easy. So chromosome number here we will take it as 4. So two pairs of chromosomes we can take it and understand very easily. So pairing of homologous chromosome, which is called as a synapsis. This is very found here. Suppose this is nuclear membrane which is still present, and outside the nucleus there is a cytoplasm. We find here the homologous chromosomes, two chromosomes, they start pairing. So this is, we can say, one pair, and this is another pair of chromosomes. And the chromatids which are formed, they are not very clearly visible. After DNA replication, every chromosome will have two DNA molecules and hence two chromatids. But the chromatid, they are not very clearly visible at this stage. And this pair of homologous chromosome, this pair is referred as a bivalent or dyad also. It is called as a bivalent or a dyad. Number of bivalents in a cell depend upon the haploid number of chromosomes. So number of bivalents are equal to haploid number. Here we have taken 4 as the diploid number. So 2 will be haploid. So hence here we find 2 bivalents are formed. So now what is synapsis? So here this is one chromosome and this is another chromosome. These two will come together and there is a formation of a protein-like substance in between. To hold these two chromosomes together, a protein-like substance is formed. This is called as synaptinemal complex. It is called as a synaptinemal complex. So there is a formation of synaptinemal complex between the two homologous chromosomes. I hope you know, all of you, what is a homologous chromosome. It is a pair involving which are morphologically and genetically similar chromosomes. One chromosome belonging to one parent, another belonging to the other parent. Otherwise, they are morphologically as well as genetically they are same. So these are the two pairs here. Let us label the chromosomes also. Let us take this as A, B, C and D. There are 4 chromosomes we have taken as A, B, C, D. So here there is a pairing of one pair if we take say A and B. And these are called as a bivalent or direct. Now there are 3 types of synapses taking place. Synapses is of 3 types. Synapses, or we call it as a pairing of homologous chromosomes. So synapses is of 3 types. Synapses is of 3 types. First type is called as a procentric. First type of synapses is called as a procentric, that is, synapses takes place with the help of centromeres. That means 2 centromeres will come together, and when they pair together, then we call it as a procentric. Then second type is called as a proterminal. Second type is called as a proterminal. That means synapses starts from one end and moves towards the other end. So it is called as a proterminal. The third one is called as a random. The third type is called as a random. So in random we find from any point the synapses can occur all over the length. From any point when the synapses occurs, then it is called as a random synapses. So it is zygote. It is of 3 types of pairing takes place. So in zygote, the main important feature is formation of bivalents and pairing of homologous chromosomes. Now let us take the next one, pactide. Pachytene. Let us start with pachytene. So in pachytene we find the splitting of the chromatids will take place. So here the chromatid separation will take place. Chromatid separation. Chromatid separation will take place. That is called as a in pachytene. So when chromatid gets separated, we find there is a separation of 2 chromatids. Earlier, what did we discuss here? It is looking like having only one chromatid. But now, since the separation takes place, every chromosome will appear to have 2 chromatids. Every chromosome will appear to have 2 chromatids. So this is chromosome A and chromosome B. So every chromosome will appear to have 2 chromatids. Therefore, this stage, this is called as a tetrad. It is still a bivalent. It is still a bivalent because there are 2 chromosomes present. A pair is present. So it is called as still a bivalent. but it is called as a tetrad because 4 chromatids are very clearly visible. So it is called as a tetrad. Now, the most important feature of pachytene is, first thing is, it is the longest phase of all. It is the longest phase of all the other subphases, and the most important feature here is, first thing, formation of chiasma. formation of chiasma takes place. Chiasma means X-shaped structures which are formed between X-shaped structures are formed between the two non-sister chromatids. X-shaped structures are formed between the two non-sister chromatids. Now, what are non-sister chromatids? Chromatids of these two different chromosomes, they are called as non-sister chromatids. That means these two chromatids we call it as A and A, and here we call it as B and B. So A and B will become the non-sister chromatids. So here we find the X-shaped structures. Suppose this is one chromosome and this is another chromosome. So such cross X-shaped structures, they are formed first. That is called as a chiasma. So the point where these X-shaped structures are formed, these are called as recombination nodules. Recombination nodules. So recombination nodules are present all over the length of the chromosome. And wherever the recombination nodules are formed, we find these X-shaped structures or chiasma are formed. And after the formation of chiasma, the next important phenomenon here is called as crossing over. So first there is a chiasma formation. After chiasma formation, there is a crossing over. Crossing over means exchange of genetic material takes place. So now let us see how is the exchange of genetic material is taking place. For the diagram purpose, we must have shown at just 1 or 2 points the X-shaped structure. But actually in reality, all over the length of the chromosome, we may find the crossing over can take place. Crossing over results in exchange of the segments, chromatids at this point. This is an enzymatic process. It is an enzymatic process. It takes place with the help of two enzymes. First enzyme is called as endonuclease enzyme. Endonuclease. Endonuclease means which helps in breaking. So at this point, there will be a break. Wherever there is a chiasma, at this point there will be a break. So I will show A and B with two colors, that will be better. So this is say one color. So now suppose if we take endonuclease, with the help of endonuclease there is a breaking of the chromatids at that point. After breaking, second enzyme, joining enzyme, that is called as a ligase. Joining enzyme is ligase. So here instead of joining with their own segments, they exchange their segments. That means the one chromosome, say chromosome A, will exchange and join with this, and similarly chromosome B will exchange and join with this. This is how the joining can take place. So here it will get a part of chromatid from this, and similarly the other chromosome also will get a part of chromatid. So here, similarly here also, it will exchange its segment and then join. Exchange the segments and then join. So this will join with this. But even after joining, the chiasmata are still present. So endonuclease and ligase, these two are involved. These two together, these are also called as the enzyme recombinase. Enzyme is also called as recombinase. So exchange has taken place and the chiasmata, the X-shaped structures are still present. They are not actually, they become more clear in the next stage. Here the chromosomes are still very close to each other. Because they are very close to each other, the actual X-shaped structures are not clearly visible. For the diagram purpose, for understanding purpose, we have shown this as overlapping. But in actual, if we observe, these X-shaped structures are very, very close. They are not very clearly visible. They are visible only in the next stage. Now, what is the significance of this stage? Significance of Pakitian stage is it is very important. It leads to recombinations. It leads to recombinations which further help in variation. The variation which we find in progeny is because of the packaging stage. And variations are the basis of evolution. Variations are the basis of evolution. So packaging is responsible for evolution and formation of new species. Now let us see the next stage in prophase 1, that is called as diplotin. Diplotin. So in diplotin, out of all these stages in prophase 1, diplotin is considered as a long lasting stage, because in some vertebrates it is found it lasts for even years. This is found in some vertebrates like amphibians and all. It is found it lasts for many years, like oocytes of amphibians. Now in diplotin, the first important step is dissolution of synaptinimal complex. Dissolution of synaptinimal complex. I told you the synaptinimal complex is formed between the two homologous pair of chromosomes. Suppose this is a homologous pair of chromosomes. In between we find a protein-like substance is formed, that is called a synaptinimal complex, and after Paquetine stage the synaptinimal complex will dissolve. When synaptinimal complex dissolves, the two homologous pairs will start moving away from each other. So we find repulsion of homologous chromosomes. Repulsion of homologous chromosomes. They start repelling from each other, moving away from each other. So when they start moving away from each other, we find the X-shaped structures, that is chiasma, are more clearly visible. Chiasma are more clearly visible, especially when they start moving. If they are very close, chiasma will be very close. They are not very clearly seen. But when they start moving away, the X-shaped structures are very clearly visible, like I have shown in the previous diagram. The X-shaped structures are very clearly visible. So due to this repulsion, almost the chiasmata will start moving towards the end. So when they are here center, now they start moving towards the end, and they are very clearly visible. This is what is called as a diplotin stage. And last stage is called as diakinesis. Last stage is the diakinesis. In diakinesis, we find spiralization continues. Spiralization continues. Chromosomes become very thick, and the chiasma will completely reach the ends. So here they start moving. In case of diplotin stage, the repulsion takes place. Chiasma start moving towards the end. But in case of diakinesis, we find the chiasma will completely move towards the end. So the two homologous chromosomes will be attached only by this terminal chiasma. two homologous chromosomes will start. They attach only by terminal chiasma, and this process is called as terminalization. Terminalization is very important event which is found in case of diakinesis. Spiralization, that means chromosome become thick rod-like, they start, condensation will continue, and terminalization will take place. And another change, the nuclear membrane and nucleolus starts disappear. Nuclear membrane and nucleolus starts disappearing. It starts moving away, all disintegrating and disappear. And the bivalents are still attached by terminal chiasma. Even during diakinesis, bivalents are still attached by terminal chiasma. So all the bivalents now will move towards the periphery of the nuclear membrane, and finally when the nuclear membrane disappears, all the bivalents are scattered within cytoplasm. So at the end of, suppose we observe the bivalents at the end of prophase 1, we have only the cell wall, and all the bivalents, so this is one bivalent, all the bivalents. I told you the number of bivalents will depend upon the number of chromosomes present, that is equal to haploid number of chromosomes, and all the bivalents remain scattered within this cytoplasm. So we actually started the process taking 4 chromosomes or 2 pairs. So we will continue with that in the remaining other steps in meiosis. So here with this I complete prophase 1, children. So in my next video I will complete the remaining process of meiosis. I hope it is very clear. So go through it and also read your textbook. Thank you very much, children. Have a good day. If you are watching my channel for the first time, my video for the first time, please subscribe and share to your friends and take the maximum benefit. Thank you very much.